realize these farmers are smuggling to sell in other countries. I have friends who are cocoa farmers indulging in the act. A close friend of mine travels to, I'm not going to mention the country, I don't want to start a third world war, to sell his cocoa because the buyers offer more there. Right now, we have halted production, so I don't go to work. I am hearing rumors that if this continues, we'll be laid off since we cannot continue to be on the company's payroll without working. I spoke to my friend, the cocoa farmer, and he also mentioned that they are not able to afford fertilizers and pesticides for their crops, so the infestation has been bad this year. So he has incurred losses, and with the small number of cocoa beans he got, he will not sell it to the LLCs at their low price. He would rather travel to the said country since they offer more money for the beans there. I am also sick and have been gathering money for surgery for months. But with what is happening, I cannot afford it if I lose my job now. I am confused. I'm thinking about joining my friend in this smuggling business. But please, since you are into agriculture stuff, can you report this issue so it gets to the appropriate authorities? Also, can you please connect me with a job? I have attached my CV. Please help him by that. This man is killing two birds with one stone. He's telling us about what is happening and he's shooting his shots also.
He's trying to be smart.
Yeah. We would help him any way we can. So, Prince, what do you think about this story? There are lots of issues I'm seeing currently. I think there's an issue of unemployment. That's as if they get laid off. And he's also reporting cocoa beans shortage, the smuggling, the pest infestation. So what is your overview of what's happening? You being an agricultural journalist, have you heard of the cocoa bean shortage in Ghana?
Yeah. So we have, that's the problem now, the cocoa shortage. If you read the news currently, Cocoa Post, that's an authority in the cocoa business, is saying that there's a whole lot of smuggling. You know, smuggling is a way long thing that has been happening.
Yeah.
Yes, and we were trying to minimize the impact, and even there were some regulations that were being made to some. You know, last year the president even increased the cocoa producer price, all in the bid, yes, to discourage them and also to make their lives
easier and better.
Yeah. I think this issue of smuggling is something that is going to take a long while for us to solve. One, we have to manage our systems well in terms of regulations of our cocoa systems. All right, what is that regulation? Now, the state-owned farms, when we produce our cocoa, we don't have that mechanisms in place to even track. All right, where the cocoa is going to. So there is that traceability issue in there. You get it. And one thing about this also is that they are trying to evade or avoid tariffs and taxes. All right. So if the person is transporting cassava to the neighboring country, they will find a way to smuggle the cocoa in there. So when it gets there, one, he has been able to avoid the payment of taxes or tariffs, and is going to sell to the person
at a
higher price. The person is going to get a foreign money. Okay, so there is that foreign earning. Whereas we could have had that system in place
but then,
for Ghana.
Yeah, you know, Cocoa Board regulator cocoa, and they have the LLCs, as the limited liability companies, who actually buy from the farmers and then sell to Ghana Cocoa Board and cocoa processing and all that for further engagements. But then, so when it comes to the traceability you're mentioning, do you think it's a fault of the LLCs? As you mentioned, through the DDEP, that's the bonds government seized and all that. That's what they use to increase the amount of how much they purchase a cocoa bean or a cocoa bag. So do you think it's an issue of government not really ensuring accountability of how the cocoa
we have the cocoa,
or the LLCs.
we have the cocoa regulatory body, so I'm not going to blame anyone. We have to now blame the cocoa board for what is happening, because they are the regulatory body. So if we are to blame anyone, then that will be the cocoa board, because the cocoa board are those who have the sole mandate, all right, of making sure that the cocoa business in Ghana is growing, is profitable for the country. Because in last year 2020, last year 2022, and the cocoa gave us a significant amount of revenue in terms of the contribution to our GDP.
That's what we
that was about 3.1 billion Ghana cedis.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we see the impact of cocoa. The smuggling, which happened or which was very severe in some years back, we saw the impact it had on the economy. We saw that the economy declined very, 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 very bad. All right. If we don't take time, this is what is going to happen. So the cocoa board is the regulatory body that it has to see that the cocoa business is moving. So if we are to blame anybody, we have to blame the cocoa board. But I don't think it's the time for us to blame any regulatory body. We need to find solutions to it. All right.
Now let's talk about the impact of the smuggling on not just the economy, but on livelihoods, on the country as a whole. What are some of the impacts of the smuggling and the entire cocoa beans shortage? The guy mentioned, aside the smuggling, he also mentioned that pest infestation is a major issue. So they lose a lot of crops. They are not able to produce. And actually, MOFA has predicted or estimated that in 2024, they are looking at producing about 800,000 metric tons of cocoa.
That is in Ghana.
Yes, in Ghana. But statistical companies and organizations have mentioned that the realistic value should be around 570,000 rather than 800,000. So with all this happening, what does it mean? What impact would it have on Ghana?
All right. So before I touch on that, I mean, what the MOFA said, or it was an estimation and forecast. We are working towards that. And sometimes you know that it is not realistic, but you could actually aim high. And if you are not able to meet that target, you can be able to meet maybe a third, or like, you understand.
I get you.
So it is an estimation. Now the impact of smuggling on Ghana does not really have to do with our economic crisis. Even international relations is going to come into play. You know, we are transporting this cocoa beans into a different country. All right. What beats my mind is how they are able to smuggle this, because we have customs and this international relations. All right. So if I smuggle this cocoa into other countries, it is going to break that kind of that protocol between
the divide.
Yes, there will be that division. There will be that. It can even bring in conflict.
Yeah, that's why I decided not to mention the country, because you know, Ghana was initially the leading producer of cocoa in the world, and now we are in second place. So imagine if they are smuggling the cocoa to the first place countries or other countries. It means we are contributing to the increase in their cocoa production.
Yes, absolutely. Because when you export, it's not an export even, because you are smuggling it. When you take it to that country, automatically you are increasing the revenue, you are increasing the production of that country. Because I don't recall the situation where maybe Cote d'Ivoire or Cameroon would actually bring in their cocoa into Ghana. I don't know why. I mean, we Ghanaians are rather doing that. Maybe they are offering higher prices.
One reason was how much they are offering. They are offering higher prices. And for the longest time, our cocoa beans, I think around 2020 thereabouts, it was going for about 500, 600 cedis a bag.
And now we've increased it to about 700 something cedis, right? If I'm not getting wrong. Now we've increased it because we want the cocoa, business to thrive, and even the lives of farmers to thrive. And if this continues to happen, what is going to be happening is that because we are producing less as a country, will not be able to have that much of bargaining power on the international market, and it's going to affect that fewer people who are trying to produce and produce well. All right, because even the quantity you produce, they need it. The European market needs it. So even the quantity you produce can even give you that bargaining power that, okay, you are the highest producing cocoa country in Africa. So you have that sort of bargaining power when it comes to that on the international market.
Yeah, let's also look at it from the angle of how much cocoa means to Ghana. Aside it being one of the highest products given the country revenue, that is what we also use in taking loans from the international bodies. We use our cocoa as collateral for loans. So if we are not able to produce a high amount anymore, now we are using a low, like we are
getting a low turnout.
Exactly, we are getting a low turnout. What becomes our collateral for the big loans we usually go for to help this country?
That is it. I think currently our leaders have to be on their toes. All right. You rightly mentioned that cocoa is our gold. All right. When we are going for money elsewhere, or loans,
we don't use our gold.
We don't use we use the cocoa because we know what cocoa is doing. Cocoa is needed everywhere. I mean, cocoa gives us much earning. So the situation on Anama is not about we going back to a problem. What we have to be doing now is to find the right solutions to it. That's what I can say.
We would mention the solutions, but then another thing I see stemming from this smuggling issue is unemployment. So I will be tackling that shortly, but let's go for a quick break. We'll be back.
Welcome to the TIA's office. Come on in and let's embark on an exciting journey together. We are excited to develop the West African Sub-Region's agriculture sector with 3 key amazing services: the financial support, technical support, and offtake support. Join us as we showcase our diverse teams, share our values of network, and give you a sneak peek into the exciting projects we are working on.
Hello and welcome back from the break. You are still watching the Agro Riches podcast with me, Nana Mufeyiwa Emchi. So yes, the issue of unemployment, and this young man is scared of losing his job because cocoa processing factories in the country are putting production on a halt because there are no beans to process. Yeah. So what already as of 2022, the unemployment rate in Ghana was around 3.87%, and in 2024 it's at 4%. Meaning there's been an increase. In 2023. 2024 just started, and these are some of the stories we are hearing. What can you say about the unemployment situation?
Unemployment is a situation that is really good because we have a lot of teeming youth out there. Last year it was around 3.9 percent of the population that are unemployed, and majority of these people are youth, graduates, and women. It was found that 2 out of 3 women are unemployed in the country. Yes, 2 out of 3 women are currently unemployed in the country by Statista. If you know that source.
I know Statista.
Yes, and then International Labour Organization also did a research and they found that it was 3.9%. So the issue of unemployment is really rising in the country, and it's cause for more entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial initiatives. All right, and one of the ventures that we can find that in is agriculture. Agric. Agric is more of the way to go. All right, if you look at all this, yes, if you look at all these startups, and it will not be surprising if this continue. A lot of these processors are going to lay off their workers,
yes,
and it's going to render some jobless. And even when the cocoa beans resumes and they are getting it, it can be that they might call, let's say, 50% of these workers, and then maximize their, I don't know how to put it, but they'll increase. They'll not increase their salaries. They can increase their work output in terms of what they are doing. If they were initially doing, say, 2 bags of cocoa a day, they could do it 3. Ghana, there is unemployment, so some employers will try to take advantage of that. So unemployment is drastically affecting the economy. And as he rightly said, he wants to even be a smuggler, and I believe that is not the right way, because if you are arrested, what becomes of you and your family?
He also has surgery. This cocoa issue, as you mentioned, goes way back. Most people had the opportunity to work with an organization that was delving in cocoa. They were into cocoa, and when our seniors or the senior employees went to these villages to talk to the cocoa farmers and hold training sessions with them and all that, some of them did not even know what chocolate was.
Oh, really?
Yes. It would surprise you that
typical village.
Yes, it would surprise you that there are some places in Ghana here, and they are the ones who give big English names. We were registering them for something, and you can't spell the names you're giving their children.
Wow.
Huge English names are not even mentionable, but they didn't know what chocolate was, or that it was even made out of cocoa process. All they know is cocoa is important, and when you cultivate it, has been in the family for generations, and when you cultivate it, you have ready markets. That's the LLCs to buy. So,
and even the interesting thing is that those places are the areas that cocoa is produced.
Yes. Yet they have no idea what chocolate looks like or what the cocoa is used for. So I think the relevance also has a big part to play. Because if I'm a worker, I want to know that my work is relevant. I want to know that the work I'm doing is important. So if they know the essence, I'm not sure they even know the cocoa is what we use as collateral for loans to help the country and all that. I believe if they are made aware, or they are able to see the end product of these things, in a way, it encourages them to be better. It encourages them to care and cultivate their crops better, because it goes along. It has a huge part to play in our country's economy. So I think that training should also go on, because these days in the news we see people selling their farms for real estate developers because of all these issues. They also mentioned pest infestation and the agricultural sector. How is that going on in the agricultural sector?
Even the swollen shoot disease or the virus. That's one of the diseases that is affecting cocoa. Yes, and some major farms are already complaining of that. You see, so the MOFA, and even one thing is that these farmers are ignorant of that disease. There are some farmers that when that disease comes, they don't know that cocoa pod or the tree.
Because what I know is Akate cocoa. Yeah.
All right. So we have a whole lot of diseases that affect cocoa, and some of them are very ignorant of that. So MOFA has that sort of responsibility. They have to relate to the extension officers to educate them, and then in the better way to avoid that, we need to provide the inputs, all right, the right pesticides and all that, to eradicate all this that is happening. So we need that. Pest infestation is really happening, and it is destroying most cocoa farms. So you produce cocoa on a 2-acre plot of land, and the required output that you want, you are not getting it. You understand? So that is it. And on the cocoa price is stable now. It is very good now for cocoa farmers. And if disease come, that means they have to spend much more money, all right, to control those diseases.
According
So
to our
that is
friend-
even be
Yes.
one issue why they're even smuggling them out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the cost of input is very high.
Yeah, according to our friend, the cocoa farmer friend incurred a lot of losses this year, and he lost a lot of his crops to pests.
Okay.
So the little left, he's not coming to sell it to LLCs for the low price when another country is offering
LLC
him
will
low.
also sell it.
Who doesn't want more money in this current economy?
You know, Nana, I really think that we should start producing our own produce.
Yes.
You know, where we have to get to a point where 90% of the cocoa we produce is being processed and refined here.
How many government-owned
That is it.
processing
So
factories
we need to start the agenda.
With cocoa, it's just cocoa processing
Company. We need to start
the
that.
rest like Olam, Niche,
They are all-
Choco, and
That is a
so
problem
with
we are
this
facing.
shortage, if they decide to move from Ghana to another country where production is booming, what's the
What
asset
becomes of us? That is a
yes.
problem, the big issue we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, that I think that we need to drive industrialization. Industrialization needs to be our hallmark. It needs to be the center of everything that we do.
As you're mentioning that, can you go on with how we can solve the smuggling?
The smuggling. All right. So with the smuggling issue, I believe that the first thing we need to do is to raise awareness. All right. Our campaign should be that farmers. This is what cocoa does to us.
I'll call you for that campaign.
We can use our local radio stations. I tell you that.
You look like you had a script ready. Farmers. But yes, farmers.
You know, if we leave it for the international bodies to do, UN does that.
We
but
are
it is-
suffering.
Yes,
They are not they don't grow cocoa in their country. They are not the ones whose GDPs are going to suffer or who are going to lose revenue. So I don't think this is something, as you mentioned, you should even leave to international organizations. As it has been reported in the news, we as agricultural journalists are drawing awareness with this campaign. There's more campaign.
Yeah, so we need to do the campaign, and the campaign should be in local languages.
True.
All right, it should not be in English language. I don't know how many farmers.
Correct.
And even the farmers are not having, most of them in the villages or the rural areas don't have televisions at their home. When they are going to the farm, they take their radio.
Yes.
All right, so the radio is on the farm. They should do more of the campaign through the radio. Now, the second one should be the traceability. We should have these trackers. All right, we should have these trackers, and we should have honest. And even now,
how will the tracking system work? Would they track each bag?
No, it's technology.
Okay.
We have the experts. All right, so we have the experts. They know that this cocoa or this track has this number of cocoa. Okay, it is taking it to this destination. All right. Now, there is someone who is at the tracking office behind the system, looking at viewing where the truck is heading towards to. Has it delivered it to the right authority? Has it delivered to the right body
person
that are buying the cocoa, that would export the cocoa to the international market?
Some LLCs are not even authorized or certified to buy these things. So sometimes the farmers do not even take it across the border themselves. They sell it to unauthorized LLCs that are willing to pay more. Your traceability solution is actually a very good one. And I think the extension officers can even help with this. They have unions, they have cocoa cooperatives.
We have cooperatives.
So these cooperatives could, if maybe you are in a particular cocoa town like Amanana town or something where cocoa is predominantly what is grown there, they can keep record of the number of bags each farmer is expecting to get at the end of the season. I'm sure each farmer would know how many cocoa pods or beans or something they are expecting in a particular year. When it's budding, they can see it budding. All things being equal with no pest infestation and all that. So what do you think about that? Can that be a way
it can also be
where
a
the
way
extension
out.
officers so they know each town and maybe how many cocoa
that's not a problem. We see, so we need technology on this. So now drones are doing wonderful stuff.
Drone inspectors.
Yes. The extension officer is taking off about 1,000 farmers. So I mean,
if they get the cooperatives, the unions involved.
Yes. You have to get the cooperatives involved. You see, the tracking system, from the farm, the cocoa is going to the warehouse before it is. So I mean, there's that smuggling and that connection around that side. That's where it is, around that side.
Yeah.
And then the truck taking it or crossing the border. I mean, those are where the issues are. And we need to. So technology is the way forward to go, and traceability is what we need to be doing now to monitor the cocoa, to forecast that this is your farm. We have a drone that will capture the size of your farm, and then we have experts that will say, okay, at the end of this season, you are going to bring out 100 bags of cocoa. All right. At the end of the season, we inspect. It is 100 bags of cocoa after the drying and everything. Now we put them in the bags. We take them to the warehouse. We count them properly by the use of technology. It is in the truck exporting them. We have the best. You understand? So we're so doing. I think awareness creation and education for the farmers should be the best way to go.
Okay, Prince. This will be your last question. What can we do to increase cocoa production in Ghana? What can we do to increase the revenue we get from cocoa in Ghana? What can we do to better it? Yeah.
The first one should be research and innovation. When you take a crop like rice, there is still a series of variations. Variations and research been going on, and now Ghana wants to do 10 tons per hectare of rice.
Oh, okay.
Because we want to change the variation of those. We get different varieties. The GMOs, right?
Yeah.
Different varieties. We use research to get to know the best yielding variety. We can do the same to cocoa. Modify it. There is one man I met who has a fertilizer, an organic fertilizer. And normally when you plant a cocoa seedling, it doesn't take 10 days to mature. It takes some days, more than 10 days to mature. But at the 10 days period and the duration of the 10 days, if you see how the cocoa has grown,
really?
You'll be shocked. So we need to also adopt organic fertilizers, organic mode of farming. The last one I will say before I end is we need to adapt to climate change. Cocoa production or cocoa trees have a certain temperature that they need. The climate has some variation.
Changing.
There is high climate, there is low climate. All right. So we even advise that in between sometimes the cocoa farms there are trees there. It's even a tree crop. So when you have them, I mean, the atmosphere is somehow cool. So people plant cocoas in forest areas and all that, just to make sure that the humidity, the temperature level is very good. So that's what we need. We also need to adapt.
We need to work on innovation to come. Actually, Ghana Cocoa Board has different variety of cocoa. Beans they usually give to the farmers. But you're right. It's the ones that Okashi brought from Fernando, I'm sure over the years they've had other varieties. But our climate keeps on changing, as you mentioned. So more research needs to be.
It will get to a time. China, China.
If
China is really doing well.
They started cocoa production.
Yeah.
When I saw in the news, I was like, we are dead. These people always take years to yield, right?
Yeah.
These people can cut it down to months.
It's all about technology.
And they have, have the tech to do. Have something ready to process it into whatever they want.
So we need to even talk to them, get to them, and see how they are even.
Right now, they are becoming more than our neighbors and friends. They brought a lot of technological advancements in the country a lot. Yeah. So you're right. I think when it comes to technology and innovation, yes. Yeah, so any last words for our cocoa farmers?
Yeah. So cocoa farmers, this is a time that we need to appreciate our own, and we smuggling cocoa is not the best for us. Smuggling cocoa is going to decline the growth of this economy. We are all praying that this economy will grow, and even the president has increased the cocoa producer price. So this is a time that we need to grow more and then earn more, so that cocoa farmers would actually get a good source of living and also impact us create more job opportunities.
Yeah, and any advice for our friend here who is ready for the surgery and is considering smuggling as well?
Yeah, I mean, he said he's into he's in a factory, right?
Yeah, he's a factory worker.
Yes, so I believe that but it's one of those instances. All hopes, all hope is not lost yet. I mean, let's keep on praying, and then hope for the best. If now the media houses actually, you can talk to them. They would send your plight forward to viewers to come to your aid, and even if you can speak to the church as well. Yeah. It will be helpful. So let's see.
Okay, yeah, that's true. And we are so grateful that you sent your story to the Agro Riches podcast and made us aware of this issue. And thank you also. You mentioned that you have attached your CV. So yes, we are an agricultural hub of agricultural excellence, and we are sponsored by Tias Group. If you want to own an agro processing factory, kindly hit us up on all social media platforms. And please, you can continue to send your stories. If you are in the agribusiness field and you need our help, you can send your story to us on Agro Riches across all social media platforms. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Just reach us out. Yes, so my producer would get back to you, gentlemen. Once again, you're watching the Agro Riches podcast, the Dear Agro Riches segment on the Agro Riches podcast. And my name is Nana Mofoiwa Enchi. Have a lovely week.